Bismillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah wa ba'd. So we left off last class the actual first poem in Diwan al-Mutanabbi. So it's important to note here that this particular poem is not a poem that was written by al-Mutanabbi. If you look at the Sharh al-Mutanabbi that was attached and sent to the class, if you see on page 117, you would see on the top of the page it says قال وقد طلب إليه سيف الدولة إجازة أبياتي لأبي ذر سهل ibn Muhammad al-Katib. And so these verses, or this particular poem, was written by Abu Dhar Sahal ibn Muhammad al-Katib. And Sayf al-Dawla, who al-Mutanabbi was serving his court as the court poet at that particular time, he was requested by Sayf al-Dawla Ijazat Abiyat, which is to respond to a poem that is presented to him, and off the top of his head, he needs to match the poem in terms of its topic and stylistically, or exceed it. So either match the poem stylistically in terms of the wazn of the poem or the scale of the poem, match the topic, and match it or exceed it in terms of its eloquence. And so he says, القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه وأحق منك بجفنه وبمائه. So as you can see in the vocabulary that's presented, what's provided is the definition of the word. It's plural when nouns are presented, and possible synonyms. And so what we find is the first word that's presented, al-qalb. Al-qalb meaning the heart, metaphorically used to signify emotions or the sense of something. And a possible synonym is al-fu'ad. And fu'ad comes from tafa'ud, which is something that is either burning or roasting. And so the difference between the word al-qalb and al-fu'ad is the heart is, al-qalb is used to signify emotions and also signify one's ability to use rationale. So to think about the situation, but also have emotions, while al-fu'ad is stripped of that. A'lamu is the comparative form of the verb alima ya'lam, to mean know. And the possible synonyms are adra, afham, and akhbar. Adra is used when one wants to express a diraya, to have awareness of something. So not necessarily knowing, but having awareness. Or fahm, which is the ability to understand. And akhbar is knowing based upon some type of process of experience. So learning through experience. He also uses the word adhul. And al-adhul is the one who reproaches, or the one who criticizes, the one who blames. And it's on the fa'ul pattern, which is sifa al-mushabbah. And it connotes a thubut wal-mubalagha. So it connotes that a particular thing does not change. and it's also a form that's used to exaggerate. A possible synonym for عذول is لائم or لوم, using the noun form. And the difference between using a loam and عذل is a loam is a very intense and a very heightened form of reproach where one uses language as well as a tone that is harmful and it's hurtful. While a loam is a lesser form of blame, but it can also be considered as a form of advice. The next word is bida'ihi. And a da is an ailment. So da being an ailment, and its possible synonyms are muddled and saqam. The word marad is a general word used to express sickness, especially when one knows the reason or the cause of the sickness. A da is used to connote an ailment when one is not familiar, one is not sure, doesn't know what the reason for the ailment. And a saqam is a kind of ailment or sickness that continues over a long period of time, or is an ailment that there's no possible cure for it. القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه وأحق منك بجفنه وبمائه. So moving to the next verse, we notice that the word ahaq is used here. Ahaq is on the pattern of أفعل, and it connotes a tafdeel, so having superiority over a particular thing, or having rights in this particular connotation. A possible synonym is أولى or أجدر. أولى comes from the verb waliya, which means there is some kind of closeness to a particular thing. And the word ajdar, jadir, is deserving. So as we can see, the word ahaq is used to connote that it is a right, not only the definition connoting deserving of a particular thing, but also that it has rights over a thing. Moving to the next word, bijafnihi. And jafn is an eyelid. It can also be used metaphorically to conceal crying. And possible synonyms include ayn, which is the actual eye, and ramsh, which is the eyelashes. Moving on, we have bima'ihi, and this word is understood to mean water. In this particular case, it's used to describe tears, and possible alternatives to the word ma include dam' or abra. So the dam' connotes tears, and the tears can be either few tears or a lot of tears, and abra is light tears. So القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه وأحق منك بجفنه وبمائه. القلب is مبتدأ مرفوع وعلامة رفعه الضمة. أعلم is الخبر مرفوع بالضمة. يا is أداة النداء. عذول is منادى مرفوع. بدائه الباء حرف الجر. دائه is اسم مجرور بباء وعلامة جره الكسر. The second line is وأحق. الواو حرف العطف. أحق is خبر للمبتدأ محذوف تقديره هو. منك حرف الجر والكاف ضمير متصل. بجفنه باء حرف الجر وجفنه اسم مجرور بباء وعلامة جره الكسر. وبمائه وحرف عطف. الباء حرف جر مائه اسم مجرور بباء وعلامة جره الكسر. So the first thing that we notice is that the sentence is الجملة اسمية. It's a sentence that begins with a noun. And a sentence that begins with a noun تفيد الدوام والثبات. And so it refers to or talks about something that is permanent and it is unaffected by time. And this جملة الاسمية is القلب أعلم يا عذول بدائه. So the second thing that we notice is اللام التعريف on the word القلب. And so there are essentially three possibilities. It could be العهد الذكري, الحضوري, or الذهني. العهد الذكري means that it was previously mentioned. الحضوري meaning that this heart is either present or it's being signaled to, either with some type of hand or some type of signal. Or الذهني, it's in the mind of the poet and the one who listens to the poem. And so my understanding is that this is al-huduri. Is as if this individual is pointing to his heart, where he's saying al-qalbu a'lamu ya adhulu bidaihi, telling this reproacher that the heart is more deserving or knows more. Ya adhulu bidaihi is more knowing of his particular ailment than you are. We then see the word al-qalb. So why has the poet decided to use this word al-qalb as opposed to any other possible word? He uses the word qalb to let the listeners know that he has a level of control over his heart. His heart does not lead him. He does not use the word al-fu'ad, because using the word fu'ad would indicate that he has no control and it basically takes him in any direction that it wants to take him into. So he's letting the listener and the people who are blaming him know that he has a sound heart, and his heart is able to decipher and decide, as he stated, al-qalbu a'lamu. So his heart knows. It doesn't follow its desires. Speaking to al-adul. So this sound-minded heart, it is emotional, yes, but it's also sound-minded, and it can make decisions for itself. We see also him using the word a'lamu and using ism al-tafdil without mentioning al-mufaddal alayh. So using this ism al-tafdil without mentioning it, what it's greater than, is one of the tools of al-balagha. Yuthiru fudul al-sami'. So using this type of construction causes one to be interested in what are you talking about? Why are you using this tafdil? Why are you using this tool that is used to show the superiority of one thing over the other? And so by you not mentioning the thing that it's superior over, it causes one to wait and to have a desire to know, what are you comparing this to? And we find this in what we actually do every single day is when we say Allahu Akbar. When we say Allahu Akbar, we don't mention Allahu Akbar min kada wa kada. We don't say Allah is greater than this or that. We simply say Allahu Akbar. And this is ism al-tafdil bidun dhikr al-mufaddal alayh. And the purpose of it is يثير فضول السامع ويجعله يتأمل في السياق ليكمل نفسه المفضل عليه حتى يصل إلى أنه التفضيل على كل شيء. And so using this particular construction causes the listener to not only have the desire to hear from the speaker, what is he comparing to? What is he saying? أعلم من ماذا? He's more knowledgeable than what? What is he talking about? And he says, أعلم يا عذول. So we say Allahu Akbar. And the meaning is Allahu Akbar min kulli shay. Allah is greater than everything. And so the poet says, Al-qalbu a'lamu, this sound-minded yet emotional heart, as if he's pointing to his heart, has more knowledge than anything else. And then he says, Ya, he uses a nida. And the nida takes the place of the verb ad'u, as if you're calling someone to come. And the tool of al-balagha that's used with a nida when one is not using it to call someone. So if you say, for example, "Oh Muhammad" or "Oh Ahmed," and Ahmed is standing right in front of you, you're not using it to ask him to come. There are other reasons why you would say that. And some of the possibilities include a dua, calling, al-ritha, al-ta'ajjub, al-itab. Al-itab is what he's using it for, to blame him. So he's using this nida, he's using this word that's used to call someone in a manner in which he himself is blaming the reproacher. So this sound-minded yet emotional heart, as if he's pointing to it, has more knowledge than anything else about the torment of the passion that he holds inside him, more than you, the reproacher. So he is reproaching the reproacher. So he says, Al-qalbu a'lamu ya adhulu bida'ihi. He also uses the nida mufrad, mu'arraf. Ya Adul. Al Adul is singular, but it's being used as if it is ma'rifah. So he should, so what it means is Ya ayyuhal adul. And so this is a form of ijaz, which is one of the tools of al balagha, letting us know that this characteristic of al adl is as if this is the only the only thing this person or this individual is known for is the fact that he reproaches. When you identify someone as adul, al-adul, you're essentially saying that this is a characteristic that this person is commonly known for. As we know, the Prophet ﷺ has many attributes, and one of them is al-amin. And so all of the people of Mecca, when they hear al-amin, is as if they're saying Muhammad. And so similarly, in this particular verse, the poet says, Al-qalbu a'lamu ya adhulu bida'ihi. And as if he's saying, Ya ayyuhal adhul. As if this person who reproaches him, they do nothing but reproach. They're known for nothing else in life other than the fact that they reproach. So the next tool of al-balagha that we see is the ba. So the two different types of ba that are used, or the ba that are used in two different types of ways. They have two different connotations. The first one where he says, Al-qalbu a'lamu ya adulu bida'ihi. Bida'ihi, al-ba, in this case is for التعلق أو الملابسة وتفيد الاختصاص والاتصال. So this ba is used to connote closeness. And as if this thing, once you add a ba to it, it attaches itself to. And this ba is similar to the ba that we use every single day, throughout the day, in our prayers, where we say, Bismillah. It's as if we are connecting ourselves to Ismillah. As if we are attempting, or we are calling upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to allow us to have, or to be provided, and to be showered with His mercy through His names and attributes. And so the poet here, he says, Al-qalbu a'lamu ya adulu bida'ihi. This sound-minded yet emotional heart, as if he's pointing to it, has more knowledge than you about this strange torment of passion that he's dealing with. And he himself, the poet, is admonishing the admonisher in the same process. The second ba is where he says, وَأَحَقُّ مِنْكَ بِجَفْنِهِ وَبِمَائِهِ, is al-ba al-istihqaq or al-mulkiyya. So this is the ba that one uses to connote some type of ownership. So al-qalbu a'lamu, the heart, this sound-minded emotional heart, has more knowledge than you about this torment. وَأَحَقُّ مِنْكَ بِجَفْنِهِ وَبِمَائِهِ, and it's more deserving of the tears that it seeks to heal its own self. So that the tears are coming from his face in order to provide some level of comfort. You, Ya Adul, you, O admonisher, are trying to get him to stop crying, and at the same time to move away from the love that is causing him pain. And he's saying, Al-qalbu a'lamu wa ahaqqu minka bijafnihi wa bima'ihi. And so we also find that he uses this word ma to describe the tears. And so I looked at all of the explanations of the Diwan al-Mutanabbi, and I didn't find a single explanation that touched on the usage of the word ma as opposed to any other possible word. And so I looked at other poems, and I saw how the poets use the word water, and some of them use the word water to connote itfa, an-nar, so putting out the flames of fire. And so this could possibly be the reason why this particular poet used this word, is because he himself is struggling to deal with the torment of passion that is burning inside of him. And he's also having to deal with these admonishers who are admonishing him, which also heightens his pain and suffering and the burning sensation that he has that comes in two different forms. So this word here, bijafnihi wa bimahi, lets us know that these tears that are coming out of his eyes are not only tears that are soothing, but they're also tears that help him put out the flames of the reproachers reproaching. So we'll stop here today, and we'll pick it up next class, explaining the second verse.